Hello fellow fish keepers or wannabe fish keepers. This is Wally Kern with the Supreme Aquaria bringing you a completely new channel. This is a channel that will focus on fish. It's going to be for you, for the fish hobbyist. Now, if you're coming over from the Supreme Gecko channel where I focus on geckos and isopods, I greatly appreciate you watching this channel. If you don't know about Supreme Gecko, go over there and check out some of the great animals that we feature on that channel, including geckos and isopods. But on this channel, we're talking fish. And I'll be talking about all kinds of tropical fish, from rainbow fish to shell dwellers, to wild live bears, to wild bettas, to all kinds of different tropical fish. We won't talk about saltwater fish, but everything in between. I'll also be talking about equipment. I'll also be doing reviews on equipment. We'll be talking about do-it-yourself projects, and we'll be talking about tropical fish foods as well, including live foods and how to culture your live foods the best that you possibly can. This channel is focused on the underwater world and our appreciation of tropical fish and their environment. But we're also going to have a lot of fun on this channel. There's going to be a lot of educational videos on this channel, but we're also going to have a lot of fun. Years and years ago, I kept tropical fish. I was highly involved with the whole hobby, including doing local shows and auctions, publishing in national publications, kept a lot of very, very rare fish, and met everybody that I could in the fish hobby, and actually flew all over the place doing fish talks. As my wife and I had a family, I gave up tropical fish, but now as the kids have moved on, it's time to get back into them. I'm going to share my experiences, but I want this to be an interactive channel. I want you to put in good questions and answers. We're going to do the Q&A sessions. We're going to do setup reviews. We're going to make this as fun and interactive as we possibly can. I'm happy to be back into this wonderful, wonderful community and help me grow this channel. And I'm going to show you some amazing fish. You might learn something, but certainly you'll have fun. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the notification all so you don't miss any of these videos. Now, you might have seen this video on the Supreme Gecko channel a while back, but go ahead and watch again because there's a lot of really cool stuff going on. If you have not seen the following video, enjoy and have fun. Hello isopod and gecko fans. Wait, I don't think you can hear me. I need to fix this. Hold on just a second. Whoops, wrong button. Let me fix this. Yeah, that's a whole lot better. The sound's going to be crazy in this room, but I'm going to get used to it because it's fish tanks. So this has been building up for about a year. I've planned it out for a whole year, putting this all together. Now, you'll never imagine how much planning went into this fish rack. I know it's only 18 or 20 tanks, but I spent days and days, spreadsheet after spreadsheet, planning out the size, planning out what fish I wanted in each of the tanks. It was a lot of planning, simply because I have a love for fish. Now, I've been dropping hints all over the place, from Facebook to Instagram to YouTube. I've hinted here and there that something big is coming, and here it is. At one point, I had this designed to be a 6-foot shelf. It's whittled down to about a 4-foot shelf. I had this designed to be on the opposite side of the room until I realized that our tub was on that side, and with this additional weight and a filled tub, that might be a little bit too much for an inside wall. So I put this back to the outside wall. Now it's only 4 foot, but this is fine. We're going to have about 18 to 20 tanks going at one time, and this will be enough. But before I get into this setup and what's in each tank, let me tell you a little bit about Wally and his history with aquatics.
Where are we going to, Mr. Peabody?
It started years and years ago, back in the 80s, back in the 90s. I had about 125 tanks.
Wow.
I was a member of the Milwaukee Aquarium Society. I was a member of the BAP. I was the vice president. I was the president. Nanette was the vice president. She was the president. We did the MAS newsletter, the Splash. I had to remember back that long ago. Yes, I'm that old. But it was a bunch of fun. I absolutely loved keeping and breeding fish. Anywhere from killifish to exotic live bearers to Lake Tanganyika's Tropheus to the shell dwellers. I even loved to keep the South American cichlids, especially the Epistogramma. And I even got into breeding discus. Like I said, that room was about 125 tanks. Every inch of that room was planned out to the T. I had from 5 gallons to 10 gallons, and most of the tanks were 50-gallon tanks. We had a half horsepower blower running that whole room, 1/2-inch PVC, tons and tons and tons of lines all over the place. The funny thing is that we didn't have heaters in any of the tanks. Well, maybe a few of the tanks, but most of the heat came from that half horsepower blower. The biggest tank was a 125 planted discus tank. I started with 10 discus in that tank. They grew up, and I actually had 4 pair at one time guarding eggs on lift tubes. That tank was run by a wet-dry filter, a drip filter, which nobody at that time was doing. So why did I get out of fish? Well, we had 3 young boys, and the youngest had some issues with their health. It just became too much. I had to decide between my career, my family, and the fish. And I had to keep 2 and let one of them go, and it wasn't going to be my family. And it was just too much of a jump to make the fish a full-time career. So it came down to one weekend. I bundled everything up and sold everything in that room. Fish, the tanks, the blower, all the equipment, all in one weekend. It was crazy. But that was 25 years ago. In between then, I've done orchids, I've gotten into geckos, I've done isopods, all kinds of crazy hobbies. I love the geckos, I love the isopods, but that fire was still burning somewhere inside of me. I had to get back into fish. So at the beginning of 2020, I decided to keep a fish tank. But the plans changed immediately. I absolutely knew I couldn't do another 125 fish tank fish room again. But I had to do more than just one tank. I had to keep a few species that I just fell in love with back in the old days. I had to keep them again. So my plans were to keep a few apistos, a few live bearers, a few killifish, and just a handful of other fish in a very, very small area specific to this office. Which brings us to the fish rack. Now on this fish rack, I have 10 5-gallons, I have 8 10-gallons, and I have one 30-gallon breeder. And I have in the corner of this room another 35, I think it's 35, it might be a 40-gallon tank. It isn't filled yet, but it'll be filling probably sometime in the next couple of months. I told you already how much time I planned this rack. But I planned the fish probably just as much. I wanted a certain number of fish, certain type of fish, kind of from my old fish keeping days. And I really, really wanted to focus only on those fish because, again, I only have 18 tanks here, so I can't have everything under the sun. Now, I'll be keeping you updated on what happens with these fish, but right now, I'm keeping 3 different species of Apistogramma. One wild betta type, I'm keeping a pair of guppies, a regular betta, and a group of Pelvidochromis. I'm also keeping some shrimp, and 1 live bearer type. What do you think? What changes would you make to this whole rack? Leave a comment down below. So absolutely, hit that subscription button, hit the notification bell, and make sure you stay tuned for 2021 because you're going to see some amazing, amazing fish. This is going to be a fun journey. I'm also going to do some interviews with local fish keepers. This is exciting, folks. I really want to share with you what's going on here and what's going on in the fish world because this is an exciting aspect of my hobby now. But like I said earlier, this is an addition. Gecko and isopod fans, hang in there because we're going to have our regular schedule of gecko and isopod videos. Gecko isopod videos on Tuesday or Wednesdays and isopod videos on Fridays. I hope you like this video. I hope you're excited about what's happening here. If you are, hit that like button. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next video.